We were getting ready for tonight's show, and as you can see, there's some weather rolling in, so we're gonna have to move this party inside. I wonder where we're gonna end up.
Live from Omaha, it's Lane 9, and here's your host, Arianna Kukors.
Here we are on the pool deck. We had to borrow Caitlin's set. Sorry, Caitlin, but we're making ourselves right at home. Good evening and welcome to Lane 9. I'm your host, Arianna Kukors. There was so much action in the pool tonight, but the event that I made the Olympic team in, the 200 individual medley, went off tonight. And it was the first time that I got to see finals live. As soon as the finalists came out, my heart started racing. My palms were sweaty. I was nervous. I was excited. I was anxious for everything that was about to go down. I guess that you could say I felt all the feels, but that's what happens on this pool deck. And the action all happened right here. We're right where it all happened. All the sweat, all the tears, everything that went down. It smells like chlorine in here. It's amazing. And it all wrapped up. And we're going to talk to Carolyn Joyce about it coming up. We have a couple Olympic gold medalists stopping by, and Gary Hall Jr. has some unsettling questions. And we just don't know who's going to show up at our new location. Let's start the show. Kara, here we are on the pool deck. This is my first time being here since the meet started.
Yeah, welcome to my second home.
I know, this really is your second home. There was a lot of things that happened tonight, and let's just get started with the 200 butterfly for men.
Yeah, men's 200 butterfly, no surprise here. Michael out to a very commanding lead right from the get-go. We saw a much stronger swim from him than we did in prelims and semifinals. He sharpened up his turns, things that he had concerns about before. Off the last wall, we saw Tom Shields try to make a move on Michael, but Michael, being who he is, didn't let it stand and brought it home for the number one finish tonight. And he held up that number 5. I don't know if you saw that, but his 5th Olympic team. So really impressive.
And you could even see in the interview that he did after, he was just full of emotion. And after he had done, I guess, his victory lap around the pool, his fiance and baby Boomer came down and he hugged and kissed them. And just seeing that emotion on his face and seeing somebody who is now going to 5 Olympics, and it looks as if it was the first one he'd ever qualified for.
It's pretty cool to be, that surprised, by Michael's reaction and see how humble he gets. Even though it's his 5th Olympic Games and he is Michael Phelps, it's still the Olympics.
Yeah.
Every single time. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a magical thing to make it.
Yeah, it really is. So let's go on into the women's 200 freestyle.
Women's 200 free. We saw our 2 superstars finish in the 1-2.
Yep.
Katie Ledecky with the win. Missy Franklin finally punching her ticket. I'm sure it's a huge relief for her, finishing in 2nd place. We actually saw a really strong swim out of Simone Manuel, leading off with a 55 to the feet. She took it out very strong. Unfortunately, Simone faded, but I think that's going to bode well for her 100 freestyle tomorrow. She is more of a sprinter, so she definitely showed that tonight. But
yeah, and then the 3rd and 4th place got in there were Leah Smith and Allison Schmidt.
Yes.
Punched their tickets,
Yes.
which is so exciting. And I saw Schmitty this morning. She seemed relaxed. She was happy. Leah Smith is having a phenomenal meet.
Yes.
And these are second for Katie Ledecky and Leah Smith. This is their second race that they're qualifying in for the Rio Olympics.
Yeah, we have a loaded field. I definitely think that's the fastest the top 4 finishers have ever been at this meet. In the 200 freestyle, all 4, I believe, under 157.
Wow.
So that's going to be an extremely strong relay. I spoke to Todd after Missy's swim tonight, and he had some tears in his eyes because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It's always special to make it. And I asked him, what did you say to Missy? How did you get her ready tonight? And he said, I walked up to her and I said, Missy, you're a racer. You love racing. This is your thing. And you're Missy Franklin. Go out there, race, and be Missy Franklin.
I just got chills.
Yeah, and she had that closing speed that we became so familiar with 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was great to see, and I can't wait to see what kind of relay they put together here in a few weeks. The last final of the night was the 200 individual medley for women, and this one, as I said, really just brought the emotions back for me, and there was a lot that went down within it.
Yeah, I feel like every single year this race comes down
about it.
hundredth of a second between second and third place, and it's always heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But Maya Dorado qualifying for her second individual race at this meet, a beautiful swim under 2:10,
Yeah.
and then we saw a monster swim out of Melanie Margalis. So I spoke with Jack Roach and John Urbanchek, two wonderful coaches, and I don't think that there's ever been a time where a swimmer has doubled up prelims, semifinals, and finals in the
Wow.
200 free and 200 IM. And Melanie Margalis did both tonight and succeeded wildly at both, finishing 6th place in that 200 free and then 2nd place in the 200 IM. She turned at the 150 mark in 5th place and brought it home with that Margalis closing speed. Her older brother being a phenomenal distance swimmer for years and years. So a wonderful swim out of those girls.
And seeing that swim both made me ecstatic for Melanie because I know what it's like to be on the good side of that.
Yeah.
And it shattered my heart for Caitlin.
Absolutely.
Because I know what it's like to be on the other side of it. And I'm so proud of her. And I saw her this morning and hugged her. And going into it, she said, I'm just going to put together the best race that I possibly can. And I think she's going to come out tomorrow with the 200 breaststroke and have a good swim, Caitlin is. But
I agree. We'll see her again in the 200 breaststroke tomorrow. Her breaststroke leg tonight looked very strong, so that's definitely promising for her next race.
Yeah, okay, so some semifinals were the 100 freestyle for men. That is going to be fast.
Yes, the men's 100 freestyle. So tonight we saw in our first heat, Anthony Irvin taking it out very strong, just like he did in prelims. I'm not sure what happened on his turn. He had a really long turn, and I think that that actually cost him quite a bit of time, but he's in the final, so it doesn't matter. Like you said, you have a lane, you have a chance, because historically we do take the top 6 finishers in that 100 freestyle. Another heartbreaker is Matt Grievers. Did not qualify in the top 8. We were hoping to see him on that relay again as he was in 2012. But you know what? He also has another race in him. He has the 200 backstroke left, and he's got the heart of a champion.
He really does. And he's a fan favorite. People just go, he is such a great guy. And I think we're going to see some more from him in his last race. 200 butterfly for women. There was a little bit of drama in this one this morning with Camille Adams, and kind of a shock on the pool deck. Camille Adams touched first this morning and then showed a disqualification. It was overturned. She had a great swim tonight. What did the finals or the semifinal look like?
Obviously, Camille didn't let that phase her for her race tonight. And one thing that's great about Camille, she is going for her second Olympic Games, so she is a little bit older, but she still has that closing speed of a teenager. And she does. Yeah, she swam her race very well, took it out at her own speed and then brought it home, closing in on Hallie Flickinger and the rest of the crowd. So
and Kelsey Worrell's in the mix there as well. That's a great time for her, and I think she's swimming she's made the team, and so at this point she can just kind of let it rip tomorrow night.
Yeah, and we talked about this, how, Kelsey is more of a sprinter, so this 200 fly is a stretch for her. I think 200 fly is a stretch for anyone, but
definitely for me.
But it's fun to watch her take it out in that race, so I think it's only going to make her 100 butterfly better in Rio.
I think so too. So the 200 breaststroke for men was fast. We saw Kevin Cordes go out under world record pace, and this was a fast one.
Yes, if Kevin's arms were just a little bit longer, I think we might have seen a world record. He flirted with that world record line almost the entire race. We saw Josh Bruneau and Cody Miller again in the final. So again, that 200 breaststroke, just like the 100 breaststroke, always comes down to the finish, how these guys time their finish, and that'll be a great race to watch unfold tomorrow.
I was actually sitting in front of Brendan Hansen as this race was going off, and he was yelling so loud and was fired up for them as they were going through the race. And I think we're going to see something out of Kevin tomorrow that might surprise everybody in a great way. He obviously put on a great show tonight, but there's something about the finals energy when you know it's the last chance and it's on the line that I think something might come from that.
Yeah, and it is special sitting with past Olympians and watching them see their races that they used to swim and how they have, such an emotional attachment to it like you do and Brendan does. Yeah. It's pretty special, this meet, it's bringing a lot of people back together.
It really is. And there's so many newcomers on this team. And, the more that I see and I'm getting to know these familiar faces, both familiar as well as new, and I can't wait to see. I think that they're full of fire and light as they're going into Rio, and wide-eyed in a good way. Wide-eyed in a way that they have a lot of racing under their belts, and they're ready to go.
I completely agree. I think that we are seeing a huge changing of the guard here. I believe our team is at over 70% new, and just a great mix. The last time we saw a team like this, a team this young with this many rookies, might have been 2004.
Wow.
So it's definitely been a while, and with all these newcomers, all this new energy coming to the team, I think it's going to be so exciting to watch in Rio. Sky's the limit for these guys.
I think so too. Well, thank you for keeping us up to date, Kara.
My pleasure.
With so many new faces, here's someone who's been around for a while but made his first Olympic team yesterday, David Plummer. What a great story after a near miss 4 years ago. We'll let him tell you.
David Plummer.
I tried to retire in 2008, and I just kind of stayed in the water because I was coaching and I had time, and I had a race at a sectional meet in 2009 that I went fast enough that the year before I would have made the Olympic team. It was my best time by about 7/10, and I was training 4 times a week. And then again in 2012, just missing the Olympic team by about 1/10 of a second was tough, and it was tough to say I still want to do this, I still want to take the risk again. But that was a big moment that I was like, I need to keep doing this. I need to see what I have left.
So great to hear David Plummer talk about that. Now, they were so great last night. We've brought them back for an encore. Please welcome my guest host, Tessa Hoffman, and her mom. Tessa, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
So I heard that you had a really fun day, that you went to the zoo today in Omaha. We were talking about that earlier this week. What all did you see at the Omaha Zoo?
Well, I saw otters and elephants and a lot of giraffes.
Otters, elephants, and a lot of giraffes. Did you do a lot of walking?
Yes, I did.
You did?
We also took a train and like a ski lift.
You
to go
did
look
a
around.
ski lift?
Chairlift, right?
Or a chairlift? Oh my goodness. Okay, so what else, was there anything else? Did you see, I think there's a rainforest at that
Yeah,
zoo. Did you guys get to see that?
We went halfway through it.
Halfway through?
because-
It's really big.
Yeah, Molly really wanted to see the otters.
Yeah,
so.
you wanted to see the otters? Okay, so I also know that you spent some time in the aqua zone today. What did you see there?
Well, I won a lot of prizes.
You won prizes?
Tomorrow I'm also doing the Michael Phelps and the Surf Omaha.
You did Surf Omaha? Oh my god.
I'm doing it tomorrow.
You're doing that tomorrow? Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the lady that's sitting right next to you?
That is my mom,
What's her name?
Dara.
Dara? What is it? Was your mom a swimmer?
Yes.
Yeah, she was?
5-time Olympian.
Your mom was a 5-time Olympian? Whoa, what stroke did she do?
Freestyle.
She did the freestyle, wow. Okay, so I know that you maybe prepared a couple questions for either my mom, or for my mom.
Oh, that could be your mom too. I'm old enough.
For myself or your mom. What kind of questions do you have for us?
Well, first, who are you most excited to watch here at Trials?
That's such a good question. So is that one for me first? Yes. Who am I most excited about? I think I was really excited to watch the 200 IM tonight and watch Caitlin and also Maya Dorado because I think she's going to have a great swim in Rio.
How about you, Mom?
Me, I was excited to watch Michael Phelps because, I don't know, some other person made 5 Olympic teams a little while ago, and so it's kind of exciting to see Michael Phelps make 5 Olympic teams. I don't know who that is.
Who
I
else
think
did that?
that was you.
Whoa! Your knowledge of swim facts is pretty impressive. All right, what else do you got for us?
How many hours a day did you train, and what are your most proud of achievements?
When I used to swim, I probably swam 3 to 4 hours in the pool, and then usually something out of the water too. So like I lifted weights, or I did yoga or Pilates, or something a little bit different. So a lot of that. Was there a second part?
Yeah.
Oh, my most proud achievement? I think my most proud achievement was making the Olympic team, but I think the coolest part of that was hugging my family right after and being able to share such a cool memory with them.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it was
how
good.
about you, Mom?
How about me? Probably making the Olympic team in 2008 because I had this wonderful, beautiful daughter who was 2 years old, and I was hoping one day I can share that experience with her. Wait, are you going to give a shout out to someone for that question to help?
To answer how many hours a day.
Oh, how many hours
a
a day?
day? Oh, well, Tessa, it was different when I got older. It wasn't quite as much as she did when I was older, but when I was younger, I did about 9 workouts a day, and 9 workouts a week. And you're making me nervous interviewing me. 9 workouts a week, and I did probably about, with dry land and swimming, about 6 hours, 6-7 hours a day.
That's a lot.
That is a
and
lot.
Did someone help you with that question?
Yes. I would like to give a shout out to my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Mayard.
That is a good question.
For phoning in that question, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what do we have for question number 3?
What's your favorite snack food at swim meets?
Oh, that is a great question. My favorite snack food at swim meets was probably trail mix of some kind or like fresh fruit. My mom used to always pack apples and pineapple, which was my favorite to have in our
I
cooler.
love pineapple.
What's your favorite snack food at swim meets?
I don't really eat
Okay.
before because I usually don't get that hungry.
You're like maybe some nervous butterflies in your
Yeah.
tummy. We all get that. Okay, what's your mom's favorite?
When I was younger, raw Jello.
Raw Jello.
That's like the worst thing to say to kids right now, but back in those days, it was. She didn't know that I used to eat raw Jello.
Yeah.
But you just stick your finger in. I
Now
know
she's
it's
gonna want
actually
it.
pretty good. But
I'm
I
not
guess when I got older, I like to have bars at swim meets, protein bars, because they didn't get you too full, but it was okay to eat because you had a lot of protein in there.
Alright,
I like it. Okay, one last question. What do you got for us?
who was your favorite swimmer growing up and why?
Oh, good question. It's the woman sitting next to you.
Tell a good answer.
I actually had two because I started out as a sprinter, and so obviously Dara for sprinting. And then once I switched to IM, Summer Sanders. She was someone who swam more my races. I'm sorry, I can't swim the 50. Can you help me?
Yeah, I can absolutely help you. I can't see what I am, so we'll exchange tips.
Breaststroke for freestyle kind of
Right.
thing.
Yep.
I love breaststroke.
I know Tessa might be able to give us some good
I
pointers for
know.
breaststroke. I think. Okay, what about ask that same thing to your mom?
Mom, what's your favorite? Who was your favorite
Swimmer? I'd have to say Jill Sturkle, because not only was she a great swimmer, she had great poise, and she really helped people that, like for me, for example, I remember when I false started and she was in a heat behind me. This is when false starts were allowed. When I got out of the pool, I was so cold. She gave me her towel, and I just thought that was really cool. So,
That's really
you're
cool.
competitive in the pool, but when you're out of the pool, you take the competitiveness and just keep it in the pool.
That was really nice of
That's
her.
awesome. What about you?
Um,
Who are you looking up to?
a lot of people actually: Kate Ledecky, Ryan
Yes.
Lochte, Michael Phelps, and Missy Franklin.
That is an amazing list that you have right there.
Oh, and maybe my mom.
Oh, and maybe your mom.
Maybe. Okay.
I think she's at the top of the list, probably. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for coming on, and those were
Thank
such
you.
good questions.
Thanks.
It was good to see you guys again.
You too.
Thank you. All right, so we heard from him last night, and now it's time for the always unpredictable Gary Hall Jr. with the latest installment of The Shallow End.
Gary Hall Jr., The Shallow End, here with Glenn Mills. Glenn, you are a member of the 1980 Olympic team that the president boycotted the Olympics. You guys didn't get to go. It was a disaster, not as big of a disaster as the Shallow End show has been so far, but it's an honor to have you here. You're a great swimmer and a great ambassador for the sport. I'm going to do a hypothetical here.
All right.
You're stranded on a desert island.
Okay.
The rescue boat is 4 days away. You're starving. You're not going to make it.
Okay.
A mermaid washes up on shore. How do you prepare it?
I was just going to try to figure out, do I eat it or do I befriend it and have her help me swim back? Because she's going to have that great tail that is I'm just going to hang on and let her go. And then when we get back to shore, then we'll have some tuna.
I hadn't even considered riding the mermaid to safety. That's actually a pretty good idea. I mean, I was thinking deep fryer and ketchup, but there's some ethical lines, right? So, would it be less ethical to eat the tail end of a mermaid, or would it be,
It's one of those touchy things that, until you're in that situation, it's tough to imagine what you would actually do. But in today's environment, I think trying to protect the animals, and is she an animal or is she a person? We don't really know.
We don't really know. Unanswered questions here at The Shallow End. I'm Gary Hall Jr. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Gary. That was shallow on so many levels. Moving on, I am joined by, he brought us to our feet in 2008 as the anchor of the men's 4x100 freestyle relay. Joining me tonight, my friend and teammate, Jason Lezak. Thanks for being here, Jason.
Hey, Ari. Thanks for having me.
Now, we were just reminiscing because I think it was 2011, 2012. We lived down the street from each other, and occasionally I would drop in on your swim practices in Irvine and got a little taste of what it was like to be a sprinter.
Yeah, it was fun. You didn't realize sprinting was so difficult. I gave you some 25s, and when I gave you 5 minutes rest, you complained and you said this is too hard.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay, different story. So I go into this, and I had a lot of yardage under my belt as a young swimmer. I mean, being a 400 IMer, we've logged it a lot. And so I think my first day with him, I was like, okay, Jason, what are we gonna do today? I'm really psyched. Are we doing hundreds, 200s, 75s fast? And you're like, I think we're gonna go between 4 and 8 25s with 5 to 7 rests in between. And I was like, is that it?
I'm pretty sure you're exaggerating. I could go back to my log because I kept it really well.
You did
and,
keep a good log.
Yeah, I was on point right there. I kept my workouts together, knowing what I was doing, and it made a difference. You had to learn from your mistakes, and maybe I gave too many minutes rest on that set, and I learned from it, and I improved. In the following year, I made my 4th Olympic Games.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so I think that you're one of the best athletes, swimmers, at knowing what your body needs. And you've obviously developed that over time, but how did you come to be so tuned into that?
Well, I think a lot of it was at an early age. I was just paying a lot of attention to it. And I think as we're seeing here in the pool, it's unfortunate some of these older swimmers aren't doing as well as I would have hoped, because I really like a lot of these guys, a lot of my friends that I've been on a lot of Olympic teams with. Yeah. But you kind of just have to understand it and listen to yourself sometimes and make changes. And I was really willing to make those changes as I went on. And sometimes necessarily working hard every second, every day is not the right thing to do. Sometimes you have to back off a couple days and figure out and get back to that point where you feel good again and you can start training hard again. So, I just got it dialed in really and figured it out.
Yeah, and I think as swimmers, we really want to just go hard day after day. And, we're used to just putting in the yardage and doing the work. And it is sometimes the hardest thing to take a step back and say, no, my body needs rest. I need to focus on technique. And I really admire you for the work that you did there.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I learned a lot, like I said, learning from mistakes. My first year, I wrote my practices ahead of time. I did them to a T. Yeah. And then I realized I needed to make changes. And I adapted actually during the practices and made changes during the workout based on what I needed that day.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we saw the 100 freestyle semi tonight. What is it like to watch a heat of men go out that you used to participate in this? This was one of your best races, I think, maybe?
Yeah, it was. I actually have the U.S. Open record. I was looking at the heat sheet, but I didn't even know that. It's funny because I've been here the whole time and I've seen all the other races and I get excited to watch the races and it's fun. But this was the first time where the athletes were marching out and my heart started pumping and I felt like I was getting nervous. I was like, why am I swimming almost? It felt that same feeling. And obviously having friends in there, wanting them to do well, it was a little different. It was different than watching the other races.
Is it a different as in you want to jump in and swim, or there's so many people that you want to see them succeed and obviously carry on the tradition for the U.S.?
No, I think it was, no, I didn't want to swim.
You're like, no,
I definitely would not have been able to swim 48 seconds on that. But I think a lot of it was wanting to see my friends do well, getting nervous for them. It was that nervous feeling as if I was swimming, but getting nervous for those guys.
Yeah. So one thing, I've always looked up to you in a big way, and you have been a captain at a lot of the teams that I've been on, and you were an Olympic team captain. First of all, what does that honor mean to you, to be selected by your teammates to lead the team?
Yeah, definitely. That is a big honor because, like you said, your team picks it. So they felt like I was ready to be that leader, and my first time being picked, I'm not sure if I was ready, but I tried my best to do it. And as I matured and I got older, I was able to really share some of my knowledge with these guys and, lead the way that I need to lead. I didn't have to copy people and do it that way, but I, took my personality, who I am, and became the leader the right way. And I think it really helped a lot, especially when it came to those relays. I felt like that role, being the captain, I had to do more. And I think that's why in 2008, I brought these guys together and it made a significant difference. I was with Garrett Webergo last night at a USA Swimming function, and he actually talked about it. And it was pretty neat to see that it did make a difference, and it really stuck in his heart, and he felt pretty good to be a part of the team with me.
That's amazing. So we're seeing a lot of newcomers on this team. And what do you wish that, they knew, or that they knew about leadership or being a captain as they're creating their own legacy?
Well, I think a lot of it is, you don't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. So if there are any veterans on that team, the best advice these guys could give is expect the unexpected. As you know, it doesn't always go how you want it to go. The buses aren't always there. You're out late, you're getting drug tested, you're getting back late. It just doesn't, it's not perfect.
Yep.
And the first time for me, I was definitely thrown off by that. So then you just learn to deal with it and run with it. So if you're prepared ahead of time, knowing you're going to have a lot of obstacles and just kind of let it slide, that's the best advice, because having that mindset of being happy and being in the right place makes a huge difference. As you know, a lot about the mental side of swimming. So it's not all about the physical.
Yeah, you're completely right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. It was so nice to see you and catch up, and I still get chills every time I watch that relay.
Thank you. If you're ever back in town, we'll go do a little workout.
Yeah.
We'll do some 25s.
Only 25s, though. That's all I have left in me.
That's all I got left too.
Thanks. Okay, so speaking of newcomers, I spent my morning on the pool deck again, and check out who I found behind the blocks.
Look who I just found on the pool deck, Olivia Smaliga. Hi, thank you. We just met, and I already feel like we've known each other forever.
Yeah, easy to talk to.
Easy to talk to. So, and you were easy to spot too. They were just making fun of me for how much shorter I am than you. Okay, so 100 backstroke last night. You completely blew it out of the water. What does it mean for you to get that swim under your belt?
Oh my gosh, I was stressing about it so much. Like the entire week I wasn't sleeping, and last night was the first full night's rest that I actually got. I was so happy it was over with, which I know sounds bad. Of course, I'm so happy, but it's just like over and done with. I can move on with the meet. I'm just so happy with the outcome of it.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much pressure and nerves that this kind of meet brings up. What did you do to prepare yourself yesterday as you were going into the final?
I don't know. I kind of I was about to take a nap yesterday, which I didn't fall asleep for at all, but I was telling myself that I've been working really hard, been doing all the right things, eating healthy, getting a lot of rest, kind of reassuring myself that I've done everything I could up until this point, and so there's nothing else left to give but to race. So I had to kind of boost myself up and get a little cocky and kind of, do that thing. So
well, it showed in your race. So last night was really an incredible race across the board for maybe some newcomers. And we were just talking about Lily King. What does it mean to be on the team with people who you raced with at NCAAs?
It's awesome. I know, you're just saying this. Having raced all these girls at NCAAs, like Amy and Kathleen right now, Jack Conger, Jay Litherland, my teammate Chase too. It's so awesome. I know these guys and we're friends. You know what I mean? And I feel like it makes it so much more personable. I'm looking forward to going on this trip. Usually younger kids are scared to go on these trips because they don't know anyone and they're just in awe of all these stars. But now it's we can all be together and I don't know. It's a lot more comforting.
Yeah, totally. So what are you most looking forward to for the rest of this week?
Oh, the rest of this week, still have 2 more events left. I'm excited to see my teammates try to make the team. I can't wait to cheer them on. I know Mel Margalis has the 2IM tonight, which is going to be awesome. Rest of the week, just racing. I mean, this is the coolest meet ever. And people just show up and give it all they got. So I'm excited.
I'm so excited for you. I've loved cheering you on. And I totally agree. I think that this young generation, you guys are fired up. You're ready to go. And I think you're going to light it up in Rio. Thank you for coming and chatting with us. More Behind the Blocks coming up.
Her energy was absolutely amazing. I met her for the first time this morning, and like I said, I felt by the end of it we were fast friends, and every time I've seen her since, I've just given her a big hug. So 2 more newcomers were added to the Olympic team tonight, as she said, and it's great to see the energy that they're creating within as they're building towards these Rio Olympics. So as we're looking around, the pool is quiet. There's nobody else in the stands. It was absolutely electric tonight. And this magnificent pool didn't just appear by magic. Or maybe it did. Isn't it amazing to see how all of this came to be? Looking around, it's incredibly quiet in here, and like I said, I still feel the chills from earlier and everything that this meet represents. But that's all that we have for you out of Lane 9 tonight. But all week long, we invite you to join the conversation by tweeting at us using hashtag Lane9. We want you to share your questions, who you're cheering on, and where you're watching from for us to share live on the show. For all the latest video, news, and photos, visit us at usaswimming.org and be sure to catch my hype girl, Caitlin Sandino, tomorrow morning on Deck Pass Live at 9 a.m. Central. Not sure where we're going to be tomorrow, depending on what the weather is giving us, but I guess that I should give my girl Caitlin back her set. So I will take this away, and we will be at the same time, not sure about the same place, tomorrow at 9 p.m. on Lane 9. I'll see you then.